Hi folks, I want to talk to you about brushwork today. So if you're working from the model, and I already put down a drawing here, I don't have the wonderful inspiration of a live model in front of me, as much as I would love it. So I'm coming in with the tip of my brush, because this is a load supporting structure. Now look at the way I've got this brushwork going. Okay, I'm finding the strength of that arm in those wonderful brush strokes. So you want to really, and then you can come right on the tip of the brush to come in for some contours. Now, I'm just looking around, finding where these wonderful, luscious brush strokes are going to be. Whether I'm going to be riding the tip of the brush to come in there. And there's also some nice strength through the arm. I can come in with an inside contour. So I'm sort of building up the strength of the arm with these brush strokes. I'm going to let that dry. I'm probably going to come in with a nice glaze over that. Now, I can hear you already saying, why did you start with the arm? Well, I've already got the drawing down. So, it gives me a chance to come in with the strong elements. Strong meaning that's the load-bearing arm. I want the strength. I want some dramatic strokes there. Now, if I wanted to come in with some strokes within the shirt, again, I can come in, find that little edge of fabric, because the edge of fabric, it's not that big a deal. What is important is the strength in there, the strength of the torso. So if I come in with nice broad strokes, that would give me some really good movement to the brush. Now you'll notice here I've shifted angle, because all of a sudden I thought to myself, oh no, that mark, that stroke is still potentially damp. So I can come in with the side of my brush right up against that stroke and move away from it. Now this is fabric. If I want a wet in wet softer line in there, now I just dip the tip of my brush into dense body color. Where the paint in the palette was already soft. So I was able to come in with stronger dark marks. And I'm still flowing it in with the brush. They're not as descriptive as these strokes. So can come in and flow a little bit more. I don't want to get too involved in the fabric right now, because what I'm interested in is building the structure. Sorry if sometimes I block the camera where I'm trying to get a little closer to my painting. Again, it's a kind of low-tech sort of thing I'm doing here. I don't have a lot of fancy stuff. I'm just here at the kitchen table doing my thing. So I'm coming in with these strokes. I want the edge of the chin. I want the cheekbone. And remember, you can always knock some color off and just flow it in with clean water. I mean, it's still a brush stroke. If I dropped in some color after the fact, that color would follow that stroke. Now, to come in up here, I probably am not going to have you sit here and watch me do the whole thing, because what I'm really interested in, as I was saying, is just getting a sense of where the strokes are. Today, I want you to think about what your brush choice is. Yeah, I'll come in with more softer strokes for the hair later. Now, if a stroke gets out of control, and I'm switching brushes now because that's a brush I was using that actually has a point on it. This one, the point isn't as fabulous, so I can use it for a lift. I can come in and clear out, as well as putting in positive strokes. I can clear out if I want to get a sense of the light around that area. And now I still have some paint in there, so if I wanted to come in and then find myself the edge of the shadow in the eye, I can do that. It's not going to be as brilliant a stroke as off my other brush, but hey, one-stop shop. You can use the same brush for lifting as well as stroking. So that's with a round, and that's with, I'm using here, this is my Escoda Reserva Kolinsky, and it still has a point on it. Yes. I can show you that more of this a little later, but you can see how I'm following the flow of the figure. You know, where you have the figure sitting, you want to get, I know, I meant to sign off. I don't want to keep you here for forever. But I figured I should show you some of the more playful strokes. This is where it gets to be fun. You can come in, get a nice broad, whoops, hello, I wasn't quite ready for dry brush there. Nice broad stroke on the side of the brush. Bring it round, bring it round. The trick is not being too fussy with it. If you lose a particular spot, you know, you can come back later. You can let the paint dry. The freshness of the brushwork is what you're really looking for. I'm not being too fussy with my color. And okay, now did you see that move? I came in and I rolled the brush. That gives me a little chance to drop some extra color. I'm working the side and it's not too wet, so it can give me dry brush. If I want that texture, I can leave it. If I want to drop in, I might as well show you while I'm talking about it. If I wanted to just drop in moisture to go for a soft bloom, yeah, I can work with that too. I'm going to come in with that dark I was talking to you again. See, I'm dipping into dense pigment, coming in. See how that works? You can really get some strong, aggressive marks that way. Now, I I can come in and rinse, knock off the excess moisture. This is just clean-ish water. I can just flow the edge of that out. So this is the sneaker that just is the clean water. You know, there's a shadow back there, in there. But I've got a shadow that comes across. I can pull it right across. And that'll anchor the figure. I can do the same thing over here when I come in and put, I might as well show you. If I come in with a strong dark where the figure is sitting, you know, get some more of those wonderful fabric folds that I just love. They create a cross contour so that you're building the form at the same time. So then if I want to create that shadow of the figure, I can just take the brush that has moisture on it and pull that shadow across. Let's see. I want to build the whole thing. I'll come back in a second and show you. Hi, so here we are again. I've been working on this, trying to develop it with discrete brush strokes. Now, I want to show you when you're building up with all these little brush strokes. So I'm rinsing, I'm knocking the water off my brush. If I want to come in with, say, another stroke on the side of the face. Now you can see I'm sort of rolling the brush. Okay, I don't want to do too much more than that because I want to keep these discrete strokes going. I want to maintain a sense of the planar structure of the face. So if I have to do that in terms of each brush stroke, I can. Yeah, I'm putting these down. I know that's a sharp edge. Let's soften the edge just with a rolled stroke. But I don't want to do more than that because I want to build things up. And of course you can't build them up if you're working wet in wet. You'll just sort of have everything go blah, 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 over everything. So let's talk about the arm again. Now, I mean, it's not really important what colors I'm working because I'm just building up all these little discrete moments. For those who are curious, this is a Winsor red, but it's on top of a mixed red that has alizarin in it and some blue in it. See, I'm still thinking in terms of what's happening structurally. I'm just going to let that be an overlap. Now that's going to bloom out. I'm going to leave it. Just going to let it bloom out. Now, you may be doing brush strokes, but if an edge is important, you know, pay attention to the edge. So this is the stroke I really want to develop. Okay, again, dense pigment. So I can come in with this strong stroke that tails off and a broad stroke. Just building up, having a wonderful time. You'll see what you have in the course of all this building up. I'm not even bothering cleaning off some of this. Let's see. And I can come in and glaze later. That's okay too. It's permissible, but I'd rather be building up in strokes. Just because. It's the project du jour, and it's kind of fun to do this. It's kind of the Van Gogh effect, where you develop all these little linear touches, and it creates movement and form, and you can get all these colors shimmering through it. So I guess I should get a color shimmering through it. I'll come in, I mean, this isn't a big reach. This is an ultramarine blue over a phthalo blue. But each of these strokes is rounding the form. Rinse, knock off extra water. I could come in here. And just overlap with a red. I mean, at a certain point, you may not be able to. It depends how transparent you want to be. I love building up loads and loads of transparencies, but it takes longer. Yeah, it takes longer. It's just one of those things. So I can do a stroke for the deltoid. I can do a stroke in here. Let's get the strength of that wrist. Let's get, now these are local color strokes in here, just in terms of the warmth of finger. Okay. Okie dokie. So you can see I can keep building these up if I want to switch over into a more local color. The skin is a, tan color. This is a mix of Windsor orange and raw sienna. So if I want to come in and get a little overlapping warmth, we can. I'll show you up close where I can get a stronger stroke. The Windsor orange is going to be a stronger color than the raw sienna. But I'm doing these little flicks. I'm building things up. Now let's come in with a little bit more shadow. Now, did you see how on that one I pushed the brush in and then picked it up as I went along? So I got kind of a triangular brush stroke. So rinse, knock off the excess. You really want to be thinking about how much moisture is on your brush doing this. This is a very transparent color. It's fine if it overlaps another area. I can come in into the shadows and build these up. Now you get all this beautiful fluid, one brush stroke leading into another, which is fabulous. The risk is that it looks like spaghetti. Hopefully it won't look like spaghetti. So I'm doing discrete little touches, constantly moving the brush around. What I did there, I pushed in, it flattened the brush. So you can see on this side it's a little thicker, on that side it's a little thinner. So I pushed in and then I came around on the edge where I had a thinner line. Now I think I showed you kind of enough right there, and I want to keep working. I'm having too much fun. You go, you play. I made my point about brushwork, and this is with a round. I've only been working the round, so I've been coming in on the side of the brush, I've been pushing into the brush, I've been pulling up with the brush. You can come in on the side of the brush and even get a dry brush in there. So you can play with your brushwork. Lots of little staccato strokes can also be used. They can come in with a little dry brush, pick up the texture of the paper. Have fun with it. Test your tools.